Hey guys, this is Felissa Rose, Angela from Sleepaway Camp, and you're listening to the Horror Squad podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Horror Squad podcast. This is episode number 317, where tonight we will be talking about 1993's My Boyfriend's Back. Little horror comedy action for you guys to celebrate the holiday of love, Valentine's Day, ladies and gentlemen. So happy Valentine's. We hope you had a great holiday with your loved ones. And if you don't have a loved one, we hope you had a great holiday anyway. You know, lit some candles, had a nice bath, maybe drop a bath bomb in, and just enjoyed the sights and sounds. I am here, of course, as always, with Steve and the return, ladies and gentlemen, after a couple of episodes. Finally, he's back. He's been holding off on us. We've been waiting to do trivia, so it will be the return of trivia tonight as well. Todd is back, ladies and gentlemen, in the house, but a little sad today, I think.
Well, let me start by saying my strategy is to get a strong lead in trivia and then not show up for any episodes and then win by default. Yeah, a little sad today, man. I saw the guys off the air, but it sucks being a sports fan, and we won't stay there too long. My football team, 49ers, they haven't won since I was 7 years old, and they lost to the Chiefs yesterday as of recording. And then my baseball team, 13 years old for the Angels, so it fucking sucks. Good food, but a nail biter of a game. It was hard to enjoy it, and yeah, fuck the Chiefs. So that's it.
Yes, and with that, last week's episode, Steve and I, we won the Super Bowl bet. We both had the Chiefs in that. So, Steve, let's hear it. What is going to be Todd's punishment pick?
God.
So I don't want to hurt him too bad. So I'm gonna give him one of those like bad but good picks, just to be a nice guy. So I'm gonna make you watch Zombie Ass Toilet of the Dead, which is also going to be the movie for Movie Club this month. Just because I think more people need to see this super obscure Japanese film. It needs to be seen by people. So that is my pick for his punishment. Zombie Ass Toilet of the Dead, which you can find shockingly on Tubi.
Wow, you gave it a 4-star. So
I did. I really
don't know if
liked
that's because it's so bad it's good, or you genuinely liked it. Noboru Ejuchi, director, for all you super fans out there. But yeah, okay, well, okay, this is the second time the fucking Chiefs had fucked me for this Super Bowl pick. All right, damn it.
Yes. So there you go. Zombie Ass Toilet of the Dead. Movie Club. When is Movie Club, Steve? End of the month, right?
Yeah, last Friday of the month. It's not this episode. It's next episode's like release date, so the 26th, I believe, if I remember correctly. So yeah, that'll be the next Movie Club. All you have to do is join our Discord, and that's it. There's going to be a link in there on the Friday, and you can join.
Awesome. So don't forget, please join our Discord if you haven't already. Amazing stuff over there, as always. You hear it every week, so you know already. Anything else, gentlemen, before we get into horror news? I do want to mention, for me personally, I did attend Evil Dead the Musical over the weekend. So I have actually seen Evil Dead the Musical a couple of times. The first time I saw it was actually both times I had seen it prior was in Vegas. I will say the last time I saw it, I don't remember much. It was like 10 years ago. It was a YouTuber meetup and we all got like absolutely hammered. So I didn't remember much of it. So Sam and I attended over the weekend with a couple of friends. We sat front row in the splatter zone. I opted not to wear a poncho this time because they were selling them for $5. So I cheaped out. I bought Sam a poncho though. And I got to say, buy a poncho, ladies and gentlemen, because it was an absolute bloodbath of a time. It was super fun. They used, I believe it was Kool-Aid. That's how it sort of tasted and smelt like. But holy shit, I don't remember ever getting that drenched before sitting in the splatter zone prior. But they literally wheeled out like this cart when Ash cuts off his girlfriend's head. And I was directly front row, right in front of the fucking thing. And I got absolutely drenched. And then towards the end, when the Deadites get killed, they brought out squirt guns and they just started squirting the entire audience with fake blood and stuff. It was awesome though. It was so much fun. Really, really fun experience. It's like, massively cheesy. So like if you're not maybe in, but I mean think, sort of Evil Dead 2 / Army of Darkness style. And that's kind of what you're getting. It's pure and absolute slapstick comedy. There's not much horror to be had per se, but it's so much fun. If you're an Evil Dead fan, there's nods to pretty much every single Evil Dead movie, as well as the Ash vs. Evil Dead TV series in there. The guy who played Ash was awesome in it, and it doesn't really follow it follows like the movies loosely, but they do kind of incorporate some new story in there as well. I don't know. Have either of you guys seen Evil Dead the musical?
Nope.
I did, but like 15 years ago, so
Right.
it's been a while.
Yeah, I mean it's super fun. The musical numbers are a blast. So if you ever have a chance to see it, I highly recommend it as a horror fan. I think you'll have a blast with it. So yeah, it was a good time. What about you guys? Anything this weekend or?
It's just Super Bowl for me.
And I'm packing my house up. I packed my horror stuff this weekend, and man, it's so depressing. Like I spent so long putting all that stuff up. I mean, you guys know you're both collectors as well. To put it all down is such a bummer, and I don't know how long before I get to see it again. So I took pictures. If people want to see some of this stuff, I put it up on Discord. Just some of them, I'm like, A, for memory, because some of them I want to put kind of the same way I did here, but B, just to show off some of the stuff that I never really get to do show off. So yeah, it's that time again.
When's the estimated move, Steve? From
I'm putting my house up for sale in April. So
Okay.
it depends how quickly it sells, which
Okay, so
usually
it
isn't
should
that
be
big
off
of
the
an issue.
market soon. Yeah, quick.
Yeah, it should be pretty quick.
Sweet.
All right, awesome. And one last reminder, Living Dead weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Do not forget it. June 7th through the 9th. Come and join us. Monroeville Mall in Monroeville, Pennsylvania. The whole squad will be there, along with a lot of the listeners. The group continues to grow. We are going to have an awesome time. Like we said, this is just a complete pleasure trip for us, not a business trip like our Hocus Pocus event in October. So if you want to just come, hang with us, have a great time, and just shoot the shit, we'll be going out to a couple of planned dinners, I think, and we're doing the 1 p.m. mall tour on Saturday for the Dawn of the Dead filming locations. So make sure if you do plan on attending, definitely grab that 1 p.m. mall tour. It's the whole squad will be going to that, as well as many of the listeners will be attending that 1 p.m. mall tour. So please join us for that. Once again, June 7th through the 9th, Monroeville, Pennsylvania. All the info is also in our Discord as well. All right. Ready to get into some horror news, gentlemen?
Sure.
Yeah, do it.
Right.
Let's spill some tea.
Oh, you want the tea? I'm sorry. We don't serve tea. Nope. Instead, you get a cup of Joe. And now here's Joe with the news.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Chuck. And here we go. This is your cup of Joe for this week. All right, let's start off with the Super Bowl and the trailers, because we got some horror-themed trailers during the Super Bowl. The big rumor, which I don't know where the hell it came from, was that Maxine was going to get a trailer. And I was like, Maxine is not going to get a fucking trailer during the Super Bowl. That is like way too indie of a movie to get a $10 million Super Bowl ad put to it. That's like the budget right there. So that was just crazy. But one we did get was A Quiet Place Day 1. Now, I got to say personally, I was not extremely excited about this, just because like I feel like the first one was great, the second one started tailing off, and now we're like, whenever you start getting into sort of alternate like plots and stuff like that with different people, like Walking Dead kind of went, that's when like the quality starts to go down. But I gotta say, this trailer looked pretty awesome to me. What'd you guys think?
I totally agree. I mean, the best part of A Quiet Place Part 2 was the beginning, which is basically day one. And I think seeing that in a full movie is going to be fucking awesome. The trailer just did a really good job of showing how brutal this movie looks like it's going to be. And I was also kind of somewhat hesitant, but now I'm fully sold. This is something I'll probably go see in theater. So yeah, it very effective trailer, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like part two. Part one was cool, but I think this is the only direction you can really go with it. And I really hope that they do like a Dawn of the Dead 2004 version of this, where it's fucking like insane in the beginning, and it calms down, and it's insane again. Like we got to keep our foot on the gas pedal, like for this film, I think, because those monsters are terrifying. They're indestructible at this point in the film series. So like, let's go balls of wall. Plus, great actress. I can't wait to see her.
Yeah, absolutely. The fact that Lupita Nyong'o is going to be heading this one makes me very excited, as well as Eddie Munson. I can't remember the actor's name right this minute. Joseph
Eddie Munster?
Quinn. I think Joseph Quinn is this in Eddie Munster, yeah. The fact that the two of them are kind of helming this movie definitely makes me a little more excited. So we'll see. The second trailer that piqued my interest that has some sort of a little bit of horror attachment, a little more attachment to the podcast probably than horror attachment, is Twisters, because we did review the movie, I think it was last year or the year before. And I mean, it looks fun to me, but I think I was disappointed that we saw no Helen Hunt in the trailer. Is she coming back? Do we know? Have we heard anything regarding this?
I don't think she's coming back.
Bummer.
Unless they're really hiding it well, which is possible. I mean, I'm not putting it past them, but I haven't seen anything that indicates that she will be part of it. Although I have a hunch that she'll at least have a small cameo, because we do see her machine being used
Right, with
inside the
Dorothy.
movie. As far as for the trailer, though, I'm a huge Twister fan. I watch it all the time. Like, it plays a lot here on TV for whatever reason, and I will stop and watch it every single time. The trailer looks fun, but it seems to be missing the point of what made Twister such a good movie. It was the relationship between the characters, their camaraderie, how they like all came together for this common goal. This one just looks like Michael Bay action film with Twisters in it. And maybe that's just a trailer. I don't know. I'm not as excited as I was just by knowing the title. I'll go see it because I do love Twister, but unlike Quiet Place, I think this one actually lowered my expectations a bit.
So we know this is a direct sequel, right?
Yeah.
Not a remake.
It
Because
looks like a requel, man. Like there was
yeah.
it looked like a complete rehash of the first movie.
Yeah, I agree. It was like we saw all like the sidekick characters and they're being silly, just like in the first movie. I'm like, man, they're like trying really hard to capture that spirit, but not in like a spiritual way, more of like a copy and paste for 2024's audience, and that's kind of a bummer. I do like that actor, and I thought it looked pretty action packed, but I don't know. I'm on the fence. Like I don't. This probably won't be a theater for me, but definitely like as soon as I hit it, see it streaming, I'll pop it in.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I like I said, I feel like it was like a lot of the same beats. Like you saw like the sisters Twister, like you know, in the first movie there, and just like a guy who almost looked exactly like Carrie Elwes's like villain again.
Well,
And stuff like
I wrote that down in last year's trivia, saying the prediction is like Carrie Elwes will have a son, and
yeah.
he's in this. He has to be in this. So I don't know. Do we know that these characters' lineage? Like, are they attached to Bill Paxton?
We don't know.
Not yet.
So
It has to be. There has to be someone's son or fucking nephew.
gotta
or some
be,
shit.
right?
I mean, they
Yeah.
got Dorothy from someone, right? Like, I don't think
Yeah.
they're just like laying around. So I think there's some high lineage. I hope maybe one or two actors may come back from like the crew that isn't as well known, because obviously we lost two of the best of the crew. So
Yeah.
Right.
I guess we'll see what happens.
Yes. Although we get an appearance from one of them tonight in our movie, My Boyfriend's Back. So
That's right.
we'll be able to talk about him then. Yeah, I'm assuming like, right, maybe it'll be the son, because that kid from Nope, can't remember his name, seems like he's gonna play a pretty big role in this one. So I'm thinking maybe he'll be like the son of Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt, because I mean we know they get together at the end. So
Kid from
that
Nope.
could be-
What's kids from Nope? The Hispanic guy?
yes, yeah.
I
Mhm.
I don't think I spotted him in the trailer.
I didn't
so-
spot him either, but Sam got extremely excited, and it seems like he's going to be like a
Uh,
main character. And she's like, "Oh my god, look, it's blah blah blah." I was like, "Who?" And she's like, "The kid from Nope." I was like, "Oh, okay." Who's the third, main actor in
The
Nope
like
there.
Radio Shack guy.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, he seems like he's gonna play a pretty big role. So we'll see. That's all I got for trailers. Was there anything else you guys want to bring up trailer wise?
Planet of the Apes looks badass, but
It does look cool. Yeah, that looks
It's
pretty
cool.
cool. I love that whole series, so
Mm.
I'm excited to see where that goes. We also got a Deadpool trailer as well,
and Wicked.
non-horror stuff, and Wicked, which looked
Which
pretty
is
cool.
a little
That is horror adjacent. Yeah,
Yeah.
it plays about the Wicked Witch. I'm surprised we didn't get a Ghostbusters trailer. I thought for sure we were
We've
gonna
already
get
had like
one,
three
but-
at this
right.
point. So I think people get it, and it looks
Yeah.
amazing. I can't fucking wait for Ghostbusters. It's
Mhm.
It
it's
looks really
sprung
good.
up to my, well, it was already my most anticipated, but that last trailer, holy shit. Like,
Mhm.
wow, looks amazing.
Yeah,
Austin makes
and
me feel good.
indeed, always. And to kind of piggyback off of that, AMC Theaters and Cinemark both announced very special popcorn buckets and sippers for the upcoming Ghostbusters movie. Cinemark is going to be getting an exclusive Slimer popcorn bucket, and AMC Theaters is going to be getting a Ghost Trap popcorn bucket. And then I believe AMC is also getting a Stay Puft Marshmallow sipper cup. And Cinemark is getting, I think, just like sort of another Slimer themed cup. So that's always cool. Like, right? Like I remember when I went and saw Scream, I got the Ghostface themed popcorn bucket and cups and stuff like that. It's always fun when they do stuff like that for fans. So I'm excited for that. Steve had mentioned the Dune popcorn bucket off the air, which a lot of people are saying looks like a fleshlight. Out in the,
It definitely looks like a flashlight. Someone definitely put their pee-pee in that at some point.
I sent the video earlier in the group chat, but SNL did a really funny skit about, like fucking the popcorn bucket on last week's episode. So if you have a chance, check that out on YouTube. All right, let's get into some more horror news here with some really huge news. I had mentioned going to see Evil Dead the musical. Well, the big news coming out, ladies and gentlemen, is a new Evil Dead movie is on the way. Sebastian Vanacek will be headlining as director for this one. Horror fans might know him for previously directing a movie called Infested, but he will be on board to direct this one. We don't really know much about this movie yet, except for the fact they are calling this a spin-off movie. So it will not be a direct sequel to the last movie we got of Evil Dead Rise. But here is a little bit of a quote from Sebastian Vanacek, the director. He said, "I told the studio that I wanted to make a nasty film, a film that hurts, from which you come away tested. I'm going to put all the horror I have inside, and it will be cathartic. And I haven't ruined my career if I continue to make films behind it. I will move on to make something other than horror. If all goes well, we should start filming the film at the end of 2024, beginning of 2025 for release Halloween 2025. He also went on to mention that Sam Raimi and company are giving him 100% creative freedom on this film. And he said he plans on putting a quote unquote French twist on this movie.
Be
So
penises in it for sure.
So that's all we get for now. So I got to ask you guys, thoughts?
Yeah, I'm more Evil Dead the better, but let's keep them consistent because I think the lowest rank we all agreed was like a 4 out of 5, so that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, my lowest rank Evil Dead was like my number 2 movie last year, so it's pretty. They got big shoes to fill, but I'm pretty psyched about it.
Same. I'm a little disappointed they're calling it a spinoff. So, like, where do we go from here? Like, I'm surprised they're not kind of continuing it on. I did hear some people speculating that this could be, a prequel where we go back to what we heard in the tapes from the last Evil Dead Rise movie, which I think would be kind of a cool take. I know you, Todd, kind of had mentioned that's kind of where you were hoping they would go.
I'd love the idea of a priest just battling Deadite priests. That'd be so freaking cool.
Definitely. So we will see. We'll obviously keep you guys updated. Another director news here, and this one I think will excite most fans of the Saw franchise, and that is that Saw X filmmaker, director Kevin Greutert, who directed the last movie, will be returning to direct the next installment of Saw 11, which makes me excited because I thought Saw 10 was great. It was a big step up from the last few Saw movies, and to have him back at the helm, I think is the right choice. There was talk about him not returning, but he will be returning. Saw 11 heading back to theaters next year, or this year, September 27th, 2024. So yeah, very excited for that.
My joke for that doesn't work because I forgot these were prequels, but is the new Saw going to be in a rest home? Because he's fucking 85 years old or something.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, Tobin.
I know.
I mean, it's awesome that he's doing work, obviously, but it's like, how far can we keep going with him I-
until he dies. I think honestly,
much.
they're gonna milk that shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Of course, until he can't stand anymore, pretty much. And then even then, they'll probably put him in a wheelchair and
right.
wheel his ass out there for the movies as long as he can still act. I
wanna
just, man,
play a game.
I just hope I can get him at one more con. He hasn't been doing cons recently, and I fear with his age he might not do many more. Although Barbara Steele is like 96 and is doing one next month for Monster Mania. So
Wow.
yeah,
That's sick.
yeah. So we shall see. All right, what do you think, guys? Chucky in space. Well, it has been, talked about for a while now. And Don Mancini recently in an interview said he might send Chucky to space, but only if the fans want to. In a recent interview, he was asked about it, and he went on to say, "People keep asking me that specific question. My response is, do you want him to go to space? Do you personally want him to go? I feel like if there's enough demand for that, we'll have to do that eventually. I don't know how quickly, but I do have an idea for that." And then after that interview, Mancini immediately went over to X, aka Twitter, and asked the fans, would you like to see Chucky go to outer space? He said Chucky might go to space. So I gotta ask you guys, do you want to see Chucky go to space?
How many times was the word space used in that article?
Yeah,
Fucking
right.
shit. No, I mean, I'm good. But you're the only one that's like pretty current with the series, like
Right.
with season 3, right? They're on?
Yeah, we're like part 1 of season 3 right now. They've been on a
Yeah.
break because of the writer's strike. They had to
Well,
take half the season off.
what do you think since you're current basically with it?
No, I mean, I think going to space is like the joke, right? Like, although I feel like if anyone's gonna go to space, it might work for Chucky because, like, that sort of franchise has already sort of gone off the rails. And the TV show of Chucky, it might work because it's so fucking goofy now. But I still think no, like, just sending any horror character to space is just it's just too like corny and cheesy at this point. I think like where they went now with him, like Chucky in the White House, was a cool idea and it's been working for the TV show. But I would say for the TV show, maybe send him to space, because you can just, start running out of ideas on TV series. But as far as like a standalone movie of Chucky in space, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, I don't know, like where they're gonna send the series anymore. I guess so, right? If he's at the White House, where else do you go? I guess up. I personally like the space movies that we've had so far, Jason X and Leprechaun 4. They're ridiculous, but I kind of like them for that. So I'm not totally opposed to seeing Chucky go to space at this point.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe the worst kept secret in Hollywood right now or in the horror circles is Fede Alvarez's, of course, Alien movie and what it is going to be called. It, of course, has been touted as the untitled Alien movie, but everyone kind of already knew it was coming, but it has officially been announced that the new Fede Alvarez movie will be called Alien Romulus. Will be releasing August 16th of this year. And as we reported on, I think last week or the week before, it's supposed to slot in between the first and second movie. So we shall see. Very excited. Obviously,
Awesome.
something we will be
Finally.
reviewing.
I'm excited for something now this year.
Right. Yeah, I'm pumped. I really can't wait. I mean, definitely the right director to take over that franchise. And one last bit of news tonight. Steve, get out the box of tissues. Not for that reason, but for tears. Unfortunately, as it has been announced that The Conjuring 4 will be the planned final installment in the main series of Conjuring movies, with Michael Chavez on board to direct this one. Michael Chavez previously, of course, directed The Nun 2 and our personal favorite, of course, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It.
And I believe The Curse of La Llorona, if I remember.
Yeah, I think you're right. So not a great track record for the Conjuring series movies there, but plot details currently are being kept completely under wraps for right now. But Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga are expected to return, and a summer shoot in Atlanta for this year is expected. So I gotta ask, do you believe it? Do you believe this is going to be I kind of do personally. I think this will be. I think from here, Patrick and Vera will probably kind of step away, and we'll just get Conjuring Universe movies from here on out, or at least maybe for the next 10 years, and then they'll return, as the way it goes. But yeah, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree that I think this will be the last Conjuring movie with those two attached, at least. I'm not convinced we're not going to see more Conjuring like with that name movies coming out. I think that franchise is just worth too much to producers out there, so I'm not really convinced that that actually be the end of this storyline. Just I think it'll be with different actors. As for the director, I don't fucking get it. Like you guys obviously Conjuring 3 didn't work, so bringing back the same director makes no sense to me at all. I was kind of hoping that like Juan would take it up just as like a farewell to the series, just give it to the person who made it popular in the first place. But yeah, I've very little optimism for this movie right now.
Yeah, same. Like, yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, the director's track record unfortunately has not been great. And after the last Conjure movie, it's probably the right decision to kind of step away and, leave it be at this point. But I mean, they're gonna make a million Conjuring Universe movies. The Nun will continue on, hopefully bringing up the quality a little bit. I mean, we'll see how it goes, and we'll keep you guys up to date on that. Obviously, something we'll end up reviewing.
There is that was your last piece of news?
Yeah, yes. You got
Okay.
anything?
Yeah, I do. Two things. So the Disney just had their like earnings call recently, and they announced two movies that are being worked on that I am pretty psyched about, and that is Predator is getting
That's
a
right.
new spin-off. It's untitled as of right now, but the rumor is it's going to be in feudal Japan, but in the future, I think, because they mentioned something about it being sometime in the future, but with kind of like feudal Japan type style to it. So I guess we'll see more. It was just kind of briefly announced. And during the same kind of speech, they also mentioned that Prey 2 is currently being worked on. So we should get that at some point, I'd say within the next 2 years. That's pretty exciting because we really like Prey, and I think that could
Definitely.
be fun.
Hell yeah. The more Predator and Alien movies, the better for sure. So we shall see. All right. And that is going to be it for horror news this week. All righty, gentlemen. Well, Todd, I think it's your turn to tell us what you've been watching since you haven't been on in a couple weeks. So what you been watching, buddy?
Okay. Well, I'll do a very quick one to honor David MG. Watched Dawn of the Dead the morning I learned of his passing. So rest in peace once again to him. Amazing film, 5 out of 5 for me. A new watch though was 1977's The Farmer, and this one was on Blu-ray. I'm not sure if it's streaming anywhere. Let me check very quickly. The answer is yes, on Tubi. And this one is a World War II vet, decorated World War II vet, comes back home. He wants to live the quiet life on a farm. It's his father's farm that passed it down to him, and he's got like this black helper guy that like runs things, and like he has to deal with racism. And the farmer has wants nothing to do with that shit, so he defends them in the kind of like a racist town, things like that. And then he falls in with like some fucking mobsters, man. He saves this guy's life. That's like a bookie or some shit, and the mobsters blind him, and the guy that's blinded comes back and says, "Hey man, you saved my life. Now I need you to do me a favor, and I'll give you money to rescue your farm from foreclosure. You just got to kill these mobsters." And he's like, "I don't want to." But then the farmer's girlfriend, unfortunately, there's a very graphic and disturbing rape scene with the mobsters and his lady, which goes on way too fucking long. The only thing good coming out of that is you cannot wait for the mobsters to get killed, which the farmer finally is like, you know what, I'm done. Oh, and they killed his black friend too, so you get two bad scenes back to back. Yeah, he goes on a rampage killing them, and it's more like of a death wish more than a horror movie. And I love the premise. It just took way too long to get to the meat. Like I wanted to see the revenge stuff happen, and unfortunately, we have a lot of like, is he gonna be, take matters in his own hands? Is he not? Is he gonna be quiet? Is he gonna embrace his soldiering and things like that? So really like the premise. I really like the ending. But overall, it was like a 3 out of 5 for me. So that's The Farmer from 1977.
All right. My first one tonight is my February movie pick for the 12-month movie challenge, where our listeners gave us 12 movies to check out for February. This one was recommended by Shaylin, I believe. Three Little Chord Me, is that her name?
Little Three Chord Me.
Thrill Three Chord Me, close enough. So this is 1986's Gothic, which you can check out over on Tubi. I've never even heard of this movie. This one is an interesting story of sort of a loosely based tale on how the Frankenstein novel was written by Mary Shelley. So it's about Mary Shelley and Percy Shelley going to Lord Byron's castle for the weekend of absolute debauchery, of complete sex and drug fueled debauchery, which did, happen if you kind of read about the story here. But this one goes kind of into the fever dream aspect of everything that happened over that weekend. The cast is just a murderer's row, man, of talent. As you have Gabriel Byrne, Julian Sands, Natasha Richardson, and one of my all-time favorite character actors of Timothy Spall, who you've seen, if you might not know his name, but you've seen him in like literally everything. But man, this movie is fucking insane. It's just extremely horny to start. Like it's just like orgies like happening like throughout the movie, and it just has this whole sort of horny vibe to it because they're all taking, it's like liquid fucking, some sort of like liquid like cocaine or liquid heroin, that they're all just fucking like just tripping balls off of. So the movie just goes into like all these sort of nightmarish, trip visions and stuff like that they have throughout the whole movie. Some really like crazy imagery throughout. The cast all gives just absolutely amazing performances. This isn't going to be for everyone, that is for sure, because the movie is like really, I would say nonsensical in a lot of ways, because it's really like just drug induced visions and stuff like that. But to me, it was just so incredibly memorable, and I really enjoyed the hell out of it. I really, really dug it. I'm so glad that I watched it and that it was brought to my attention. It's a movie that I think is unforgettable in a lot of ways, and I think it's really cool that it's, kind of the backdrop of one of the most sort of iconic nights in horror history, with sort of the inception of the Frankenstein novel. So it's really, really cool. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 because as much as I loved it, I do find it took me a minute to figure out what the hell was going on, at times, but it all sort of ties together in the end. So if you're into weird, I say definitely check it out. If you're not into weird, you might want to skip this one, but it's a wild ride, and I definitely recommend it. So that's Gothic, 1986. You can check it out over on Tubi.
I haven't seen the movie, but I vividly remember that VHS box from the video store when I was a kid. I don't know, there's something about that VHS box that I just absolutely remember. So my first one this week is my 5th week doing this series. This is the penultimate one because there's only one more in the series, and that is 1998's Subspecies 4, Bloodstorm, or also The Awakening, depending on where you watch it. And I watched it over on Tubi. So just gonna say it out here at the beginning here, spoilers for the Subspecies series. If you're interested, forward 2 minutes because I'm gonna spoil the whole series right now. Basically, every single movie in this series is Radu the vampire. In the first one, he like turns a girl into a vampire, and then people try to save her, and then they kill him at the end and save her. Then the next movie, he gets her back, and he comes back to life. She gets taken again. He goes after her. It's like the same fucking story over and over and over. He dies, she comes back. He dies, she comes back. It's like the same fucking thing. Subspecies 4, the exact same formula. Radu comes back to life magically after Subspecies 3, and he wants to reunite with his love from the first one again, and he chases her down everywhere. But this time, the one thing that makes it interesting is they bring in one of the characters, Ash from the spin-off movie, Vampire Journals. So that's really cool. And the movie's okay. I mean, these movies are all okay. none of them are super special. I wouldn't go out of my way to watch any of these, but they're a fine watch if you like vampire stuff. Radu is a really cool character, so I do enjoy it for this. It's just the formula is getting really tired at this point. I think it's time that they move forward. It's almost like Mario and Princess Peach. Like, it's the same fucking thing every single time if you're looking at it story wise. So I actually, for the first time in the series, I'm not giving it a 3 out of 5. I lowered it slightly to 2.5 out of 5. So still decent film, but like, come on, guys, like, change the formula a little bit, please. So that's Subspecies 4, Bloodstorm or The Awakening, over on Tubi.
For all you lovebirds out there, Full Moon is having their up to 50% off sale. So if you need some
Best.
statue, do you get any statues?
No, I
Joey?
have them. I have them all. I
Oh,
have.
you did?
Yeah, I bought them over
Nice.
the last 4 years. I bought 2 a year for the 50% off
50%
sale.
off.
So yeah,
Can't
I'm all
beat
set.
that.
I got the whole collection now. So
Very cool.
exciting.
All right, my last one here is I had a movie day with the homies TJ and Brent, and the first film we watched was one that Brent brought called Grave Robbers from 1988. Let me read you the first line here, the description from Letterboxd for the type of film you're going to get into. Cute waitress / hooker is romanced and wed to a handsome stranger / funeral director. So yeah, we have this young lady. She's working at a little like greasy spoon hole in the wall restaurant out of nowhere. No, okay. So this guy comes in before that, and he is a sleazeball, and he has a fucking briefcase. And he's like, I'm a salesman. I'm the top salesman. And he opens it up. I sell condoms. You want to try one out? I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Then this other guy comes in wearing a suit who happens to be our stranger / funeral director. And 20 seconds into the film, he proposes to her in the restaurant, and he takes her, whisks her away to his estate, where it turns out, like, he reveals that he's a funeral director in a cemetery, blah blah blah. A bunch of weird people acting questionable at times, and essentially this guy and his cohorts, they get women, he weds them, and then they kill them and have sex with their bodies. So they're into that. Super fun in a group. It's not a great movie, but I give it a solid 3 out of 5 because, man, the ending is insane. At one point, the henchman that he's like the car driver or whatever, like, he fucking looks like Lurch. He's driving after her on a motorcycle, and his skin starts peeling away. It's a really cool effect. And then he never spoke the entire movie until he crashes his motorcycle. He goes, "Oh shit!" and he just explodes. It's so fucking funny. But the weirdest thing in this film is that, like, it's over, like, it's resolved, whatever, and then we get a recap of every single character with the voiceover saying, like, Todd lived his life peacefully and he like had a great time. We even got a backstory on a dude that we saw for 3-4 seconds. He at one point, she's running through the town trying to get away from him, and he joins like, this random guy joins the chase. So we got a backstory of Jimmy the dishwasher. It was so funny, and it was played straight. And there was an intro of the director saying, "Some people think this is a comedy, others a horror. I think you'll like it." And that's all he says. And then we watched the movie. So if you can get your hands on a copy of this, it's not streaming anywhere, but Grave Robbers 1988, I think you'd have fun with it because it's fucking weird. So yeah, 3 out of 5.
Very cool. All right, my last one tonight is from 1986, and that is Night of the Creeps. I decided to check this one out because I had seen it, but it had been a long time, and I wanted to check it out because of Living Dead Weekend. Of course, we're going, so I wanted a sort of fresh update, which, breaking Living Dead Weekend news, ladies and gentlemen, as we are on the air, a guest has been announced for Living Dead Weekend while we were on the air, and a pretty cool one, I think. Fluffy himself from Creepshow, the actor who portrayed Fluffy in the original Creepshow, will be appearing. That is Daryl Ferrucci. So that's pretty cool. I have a Fluffy mask, actually, so I might have to bring that to get him to sign. So that is a pretty cool, fun one right there. They're going to be announcing Creepshow actors all weekend, or all week, I should say. So go check it out. Or we have a Living Dead Weekend page. It is private. So if you are on the Discord, just send Steve a message and he will get you into that Living Dead Weekend channel for those of you who do plan on attending. But back to Night of the Creeps from 1986. Of course, this year of Living Dead Weekend, they're doing a massive Night of the Creeps reunion. So yeah, this one is about, this one takes place in the 80s. and it's basically about a college that gets sort of overrun by these alien sort of slugs, and they start overtaking people and turn them into, I guess, sort of zombies, like undead zombies slash alien species. This movie is definitely like a love letter to old school sci-fi horror movies, and you know that right from the intro, where you have these like really cheesy looking aliens up in space running around, and then they end up accidentally, it seems like, unleashing this thing into the slug sort of into the world. And from there we have our sort of hero, played by Jason Lively, trying to sort of stop these slugs along with his somewhat sidekick. And then, of course, the great Tom Atkins shows up as the detective to just kick ass and take names. It's fun. It's fun. It's super cheesy, midnight movie style flick. So you gotta know what you're getting into. But Tom Atkins he steals the show here for sure. I think without him, it's probably a lesser movie. But every time Tom Atkins is on the screen, it's fantastic. It's so much fun. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 because I wish they went a little. I feel like it took a little bit of time to get going, and I wish that it went a little crazier than it did. But it has one of, maybe two of the greatest lines in horror. Good news and bad news, girls. The good news is your dates are here. The bad news is they're dead. And then, of course, Tom Atkins yelling, "It's Miller time," before he kills an alien. So it's great. I mean, it's fun. It's a good time. So I definitely recommend it. That's Night of the Creeps from 1986.
All right. My last one this week is another sequel for something I did last week, and that is 2016's Stakeland 2, The Stakelander. So this movie takes place 5 years after the events of the original Stakeland. The kid from that one is now living in New Eden, which is Canada, and he has a family and everything, and things are going super well in this facility. But the vampires go there and ruin the fun for everybody, killing everybody in the settlement but him. So he is back on the run. He goes back to the United States to find his old master, named Mister, to kind of start over again and hopefully find another home that he can kind of be safe in. And meanwhile, he meets all sorts of crazy characters and a lot of scary vampires. So this film, I mean, I like the world of Stakeland. Like, I really like the first one. The vampires they're scary. They're kind of like zombies, but really powerful, which I really love. And this one, the main villain is like this woman who can control the vampires with her mind. So there's a lot that was interesting about that, but we don't really see her for the majority of the movie. She shows up at the beginning and then at the end. So I didn't feel like a connection to that villain as opposed to the first one, which we really get to know. So it was more of an important battle. And this one just felt like it was lacking a little bit. I still enjoyed it. There's still a lot of great kills, a lot of great effects. I like the characters that they introduce, but it just wasn't as special as the first one. The ending in particular felt a little bit rushed, and I don't know. I think it's like one of those that if it doesn't match the original, then you're kind of bummed out, right? Like maybe if I'd seen this first, I would have been more into it. But I just wish they had stuck with some of the things that worked in the first one. So I give it 3 out of 5 stars. I did enjoy it. It's just not the 4 out of 5 stars I gave the original Stakeland. So that's Stakeland 2, The Stakelander on Tubi.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Totter, bust it out, baby. It's been a couple weeks. I know we're all going to be a little rusty, but hopefully we are ready for trivia. Let's hear those scores.
Myself, Todd, and leave with 6. Steve and Joe tied at 1 apiece for quarter number 1, Trivia 2024. Who would like to lead off?
I'll go.
All right.
Ooh.
Okay. So my first one, of course, is going to be Guess the Movie based off the IMDb parental guide, starting with sex and nudity. Several women appear topless or scantily clad, since the majority of the movie takes place in a strip club.
Oh, I like the sound of this.
Violence and gore. A man is grabbed violently by the testicles.
From Dusk Till Dawn.
Wrong.
No.
That was gonna be. I was gonna say that, Todd. I'm glad I didn't.
Profanity. There is some profanity, but it is few and far between.
Poop.
Alcohol, drugs, and smoking. People drinking beer and smoking in a strip club.
As you do.
Right. Frightening and intense scenes. Even though the movie is a horror comedy, there are many frightening, intense scenes. The movie can be very violent at times, and the appearance of some of the vampires can be startling.
Sounds like From Dusk Till Dawn to me.
Sounds
It does.
exactly like-
Except it had profanity in Dusk Till Dawn. This one doesn't.
Yeah, that's true.
That's it.
That's it.
Oh, well, it's
Okay.
not From Dusk Till Dawn.
Vampires in a strip club, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not From Dusk Till Dawn. I can't think of another. Is it From Dusk Till Dawn?
No, it's
Two.
not. It's not in the series.
Texas Blood Money. Is it?
Can't think of another
it
vampire
Blade?
movie at a strip club.
Wrong.
Good guess though, yeah.
Okay, I mean, he's in that club. Not really a strip club though, I guess.
Is it? I don't know, I got
Vampires in a
nothing.
Strip club.
No.
Wow.
You guys
Vampires
give
in a
up?
strip-
This one was the toughest one of my three. So
Zombie
Yeah.
strippers with
That
vampires.
was in my chamber too until he said
Yeah.
vampires.
wrong. All right. So the movie is Vamp, which was
Vamp, never
just
seen it.
shown on
Yeah, I've never seen it either.
Joe Bob's last drive-in last week.
Is it
Is
good?
it good?
Yeah, decent. Not like
Decent.
great, but yeah, decent.
All right. Alrighty, I'll go next.
Okay.
Name the movie based on The Killer.
Oh.
Okay.
This is I'll call it a semi-franchise. There are 2 movies
Hmm.
in this series. And The Killer is Joseph.
Joey. Killer Joey. Joseph.
two movies.
Joseph.
I will say, and a little bit of more of a guess here. They came out in the 2010s on, and both movies have very small casts.
Killer Joseph. 2010s onward.
In fact, the first movie only had 3 cast members in it.
Really?
Yes.
Joey. 3 people. Wow. Are we talking like bigger movies here? Or are we like straight to DVD kind of thing?
Is it The Strangers?
It definitely didn't. I don't think it had a
Oh.
theater release.
Steve had a guess.
It is not The Strangers.
No, it's more than 3. But
Yeah. I have no idea.
I have no idea.
Give up?
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay. The movies are Creep.
Oh, Creep.
yeah.
Whatever happened to Creep freaking 3?
Yeah,
I know. We're
seriously.
still waiting for it. I hope it happens.
Was
one
his
day.
name Joseph? Really?
Yes.
I don't remember that at all.
Joseph. Joseph.
Hmm.
Oh, interesting.
So there you go.
Okay. In Cult of Chucky from 2017, what item does Nika trade with a fellow patient right before banging him?
This is in
Syringe.
Cult of Chucky.
Syringe, incorrect. Yes, Cult of Chucky.
She trades a knife.
Incorrect. Would you like another guess?
Yes. Repeat the question one more time, though.
In Cult of Chucky from 2017, what item does Nika trade with her fellow patient before banging him?
Or banging him. I don't even remember a banging
She
scene.
bangs him.
It's been a while since I've seen Cult of Chucky.
Yeah, me too. I only saw it once.
This is before she becomes a paraplegic, I guess.
No, she's
Or no?
paraplegic in there.
Oh, really? And he still
Or-
bangs her? Oh, it's the orderly, right?
No, it's patient.
Okay, no, it's a
I
patient.
think it's a patient. Yeah,
Can't remember.
I-
patient,
been-
orderly, whatever.
It's been a while since I've seen it.
The mirror, no. Joey, Dingle.
I feel like it's some sort of weapon, but I don't.
Incorrect.
don't
The
know.
correct answer is gum.
Gum.
Before she takes the cum.
Oh, oh my.
Hey, we are not doing good today.
We're
All right,
rusty. Rusty.
We're
Alright.
back to IMDb parental guide on this one.
Okay.
Sex and nudity.
All
Yeah,
right.
please.
Partially covered breast is shown with a nipple piercing.
Okay.
Violence and gore. I'm going to name 2 of them.
Return of the Living Dead Part 3.
Damn. Hell yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
Because Melinda Clark got her
That's right.
nipple out in the
Yeah,
Spears.
absolutely.
I love that
Sweet.
movie.
Yeah, it's a great one.
You ever met her?
No, but
She's been
she's
doing
doing
a
a
couple
ton of
cons
cons.
recently. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Will eventually, hopefully.
All right. All right. Guess the movie based on the IMDb information.
Yeah.
All right. This movie released in 2001 with an R rating, clocking in at 1 hour, 36 minutes. Categorized as a dark comedy and slasher horror. Currently sitting at a 4.9 out of 10 over on IMDb. Director, Jamie Blanks. Cast, Jessica Capshaw, Jessica Cofield, Heidi Burris, Katherine Heigl, and Marley Shelton. And I'm leaving out a couple of the other big names in this one.
I don't remember. I remember Katherine Heigl being in something early 2000s. I just can't remember.
Is
Tag-
it
let me
Bride of
give you-
Chucky?
It is not Brad Chucky. Tagline. This one might give it away. Tagline, Love Hurts.
Love hurts.
Valentine?
Correct.
Love stings.
This Valentine, and I was leaving out the two big actors of David Boreanaz and Denise Richards.
Oh. Not a fan of that one. Not a fan.
No, me either, really.
Pretty lame.
Although I feel like it's gotten like a kind of a
Love.
resurgence lately. Yeah.
It's because there aren't a lot of Valentine movies.
Right,
for horror,
exactly.
so you gotta
Yeah.
All right. In what 2002 prequel will you find Agent William Graham?
2002 prequel?
Yes, 2002 prequel. Will you find Agent William Graham?
Hmm.
It is a huge property with a series of films.
Prequel.
Prequel? So the franchise was big, I would guess, in the 90s or 80s?
Or 80s.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you're on the right track.
Okay, and it's a prequel, and it's a
Mm.
cop character.
Yeah. Name Will, aka William Graham.
We've seen this. Maybe.
I guarantee you've seen it.
Mostly. You guarantee.
Well, yeah, yeah.
Highly likely is.
Yeah, highly likely you've seen it.
Mm, I
Okay.
got nothing.
I can't think of
Nothing?
prequels. There's not a ton of prequels in the.
Bill Graham, huh?
Will Graham, yeah.
Billy Graham.
FBI agent.
Oh.
Will
Oh,
Graham. I'll give you a
wow.
little extra.
Oh, okay. Wait, I got it. Red Dragon.
Correct.
Yes.
Nice.
Red Dragon. FBI is a giveaway for you, I guess.
It was, yeah.
Played by Mr. Edward Norton.
It's also one of the only prequels I can think of for horror. of
We
that
just
era.
reviewed that actually not too long ago.
No, we did
like
Hannibal.
a year ago.
Right,
Oh,
right.
Hannibal. Okay.
We didn't.
Oh, we did Red
Dragon.
Dragon. We
Nope.
just did Hannibal, huh?
Just Hannibal.
All right. Fine.
All right. I'm going back to last year's Valentine's Day movie for this one, which was So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Oh, there you go. Love it.
Woman. Oh God, no.
Whoa.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
No.
During the poem where he starts
Oh.
with "woman,"
Whoa, man.
he names
Whoa.
3 cartoon characters. Can you name them?
Betty,
That's one.
Josie and those hot pussy cats.
That's 2. Who's the
and
third?
Wilma?
Wrong.
No. Shit.
You only have one more, Todd. You can steal it.
I know.
Velma?
Nope.
Okay. I have no idea. I don't remember that at all.
They make me horny. Saturday morning.
Exactly.
God, I hate it. I hate it.
Judy.
That's right. Judy, Betty,
Yep.
Josie,
No.
and those hot pussy cats.
God, so awful, man. It's the worst.
I still like that movie though.
No.
I don't remember what I rated it at the time, but
Too high, whatever it was.
probably.
All right,
Now I
last
gotta
one
go
here.
home.
Yep.
All right.
For you anyway.
Okay. Who gets impaled on a meat hook in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1974?
You look for the character's name.
I need the character's name, correct. You can't just say woman. Whoa.
I know the actress. In fact.
Right.
Um,
Terry McGinn, because we met her.
What
Yeah.
is her name? What is her little
Sarah?
name? Incorrect.
I feel like it begins with a J. Am I on the right track?
No, you're not.
Okay.
Of course, I had to take down my fucking like horror autographs. I could just look over and see her character name.
Sandy.
Sandy is incorrect. The correct answer is Pam.
Pam.
Her name is
Mm.
Pam.
Gotcha.
Or Pam Pams.
Names, the
Gotcha.
worst.
Names, yeah.
Character names.
Character names and American geography.
All right. Well, I didn't do very good this
Fucking
week.
both. Oh, you still have your question, Joe.
I do. Oh, okay. I got one more. All right. Awesome. All right. 3 letterbox reviews. Name the movie. Number 1. Iconic. I don't even know how many times I've watched this over the years. It's so dumb and so 90s. I love it so much.
Okay.
Number 2. She was fearless and crazier than him. And number 3. Romeo and Juliet who?
Is it Candyman?
Is it
Correct.
Bride of Chucky?
It is Brad of Chucky.
Nice. It's going off the cuff there. All right. Did it?
That's
Steve with the Big Night 3, Joe and myself tied at 1, which brings us to me in the lead with 7, Steve second, fourth. With 4 points, Joe with 2.
I'll have my revenge.
He'll have his revenge in this life or the next. Gladiator 2 in theaters this year.
All right. Very nice, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Or gentlemen, I should say. So let's get into it now. Our main event of the evening, 1993's My Boyfriend's Back, directed by Bob Balaban, starring Andrew Lowry, Tracy Lynn, Danny Zorn, and Edward Herman, along with a lot of other character actors, which we will discuss later on. Also produced by Sean S. Cunningham, that horror fans will know very well, and composed by Harry Manfredi. So a lot of Friday the 13th ties to this one. Plot: a teenage boy comes back from the dead because he is determined to win the most beautiful girl in school. Totter, can you give us a little more on the plot?
Sure. So we find our young man at a birthday party, and we have a voiceover saying, "Man, I love this girl." And they show this little girl. I think they're maybe 8-ish, something around that age. And he has this little present wrapped up all nicely. And he's like, "If I give her this, it's gonna make her love me." But he chickens out. And then flash forward into high school, they're seniors, whatever. He sits behind her. He pines over her. She's hot. She's with the jock played by Jack from Lost. He has no chance. He's kind of a fucking dork. And he has this master plan to have his friend pretend to be a thief, a robber, whatever. And he goes to her work. And the idea is like, all right, you break in with a gun. It's fake, whatever. You hold up to place. I'm going to knock your ass out. And she's going to fall in love with me because I went to bat for her. But unfortunately, a real thief comes, has a real gun. He goes to shoot her. He jumps in front of the bullet, gets shot. And then in his dying breath, he's like, "Will you go to the prom with me?" And she's like, "Sure," because he's fucking dead, right? They bury him, all that shit. And then a couple minutes later, he crawls out of the grave. And this grave guy, the grave fucking caretaker, is like, "Hey man, like, you can't leave." He's like, "Why?" He's like, I'm not gonna tell you because I'm just gonna leave it at that and never bring it up again in this whole entire fucking movie. So he leaves. Everyone's like happy to see him, freaked out about him being back. His parents are fucking weird. The town's fucking strange. And his goal as a zombie is just to go to prom with his girl that he loved. And we'll leave it at that. I watched it a long time ago and didn't remember a whole lot of it. And so this one's kind of a fresh watch besides the story beats and all that stuff. Man, I think we're like 0 for 3 now for me with Valentine's Day horror. We got Valentine didn't like, My Boyfriend's Back, spoiler, didn't like, and then whatever we did last year, the fucking Axe Murderer. It's fucking terrible. There's some cool stuff in it. Like I really love the premise. I think it's really dope that like this guy's coming back from the dead and he's slowly deteriorating because obviously he shouldn't leave the graveyard, which wasn't provided to us, but it's kind of clear that's what the deal is, just because he loves this chick. But it's super weird, man. He's a fucking creep. He has really weird sexual fantasies in inappropriate areas, and 17, 18, my ass, this motherfucker looks 35 years old. So what'd you guys think?
Yeah, so I remember this movie fondly from my childhood. I remember watching it like a lot because it was on TV like all the time for whatever reason. But I hadn't seen it in probably a solid, I don't know, 15 years or whatever. But man, I gotta say, I remember this movie like almost beat for beat, even though I haven't seen it in forever. I don't know. I feel like I have a lot of nostalgia colored glasses for this one because just watching it again just made me like just brought a smile to my face again. I really had a lot of fun with this one. I think it's similar to probably So I Married an Axe Murderer, where like I watched it a lot as a kid, so it was just like brought back sort of just great memories for me. I found the movie just like charming for the most part. You know, I disagree with the sexual fantasy part because, like, man, he's like supposed to be a high school senior. I think we all kind of were like just like horny teenagers back then, so like it made sense to me, and I found most of the they were stupid but funny. I loved sort of the stupid dry humor in this one too. Like everyone just plays him coming back to from the dead just completely nonchalantly. And it's like just not like a big deal like whatsoever, which I thought was funny. Like, and it just worked for me here. You know, the I felt like there wasn't though as far as complaints, I feel like the chemistry like happened too fast between Johnny and Missy, I believe her name is, our characters in this one. You know, I feel like he didn't court her like enough. Like she like instantly just kind of was like attached to him and in love with him. So I feel like they could have done a better job sort of developing that romance rather than getting it right into it. Although that really isn't what this movie was going for. It was mostly going for sort of the dumb and stupid laughs here. Just great like character actors throughout this movie that I think really elevates the movie. You got Cloris Leachman in here. You have Edward Herman, I believe his name is, who has kind of been in a little bit of everything.
Is that the Lost Boys dad?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, cool.
He's in here, or he's not he's not the dad. He's the
Well, he's
villain,
dad,
the
like
main.
The
He's
shop
like the
owner
head
or
vampire.
Boys,
Yeah,
yeah.
the head vampire. You got Philip Seymour Hoffman and Matthew Fox in here. I like Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Matthew
in this movie.
McConaughey?
He plays like such a weird ass role in it. Yeah, Matthew McConaughey, which I believe this was like a lot of their first movie. What I
Yeah.
read on IMDb. And then you just got like a lot of sort of other people that like you've seen in movies, but you can't like place them and stuff. But yeah, I liked it. I liked the sort of the friend, even like the friend character as well here, kind of trying to be like a really good best friend and helping him out. Yeah, I mean we'll get more into it, but overall I had fun with it. I think it's stupid, but I had a good time.
So I also watched this in the 90s, and I thought that was the last time I watched it, but I was told by someone, oh, we watched it together like 5 years ago, and I do not recall that whatsoever. So Lord knows what happened there. But like Joe, I also had a smile on my face with this movie when it ended because it was fucking awful. Good God, I could not with this movie. It fails as a comedy. I did laugh once, I don't think. It fails as a horror because it doesn't, I mean, it's not supposed to be a horror, but the horror parts were just really awful. It was so wishy-washy with the story. I didn't know what was real, what was a dream. Like you said, the relationship comes out of nowhere. Like she just falls for him for no reason either. It's like, oh, you're losing parts for me. That's so awesome. Like, great. It's such a weird relationship. Like, I don't know what the hell this movie was on, but there's just not a whole lot that I liked about it. I thought the music was actually pretty bad, which sucks because I like the composer of this film. That there's a scene where he goes to the doctor. The music was so bad that I had to I actually wrote it out on my friggin' notes. Like, geez, what the fuck are they thinking here? And my biggest music gripe is I cannot believe they didn't put My Boyfriend's Back, the song, anywhere in this movie. Like, what are you thinking? I thought that was the whole point of calling this movie My Boyfriend's Back, because apparently the studio forced them to put this title on. It was called something else before, and they named it My Boyfriend's Back After as a studio note. I thought it's because, okay, well, we need to have that song in it, but nope, not once, not throughout this whole movie. Yeah, other than the cool cameos, from the people that eventually became really big. In fact, I read that Renee Zellweger also appears in this movie, but they cut out her scene. So they had 4 basically people who would become big actors in the future that all appeared in this movie in their first or one of their first roles. So yeah, I really wanted to like this one, but I did not at all.
Let me ask you guys
Yeah,
a question real quick.
go for it. No, I was just gonna mention that the movie was originally titled Johnny Zombie.
Hmm.
That was the original title, and
Which
then
is
My
a terrible
Boyfriend's
name,
Back.
so I
Yeah.
kind of get it.
So, has anyone or have you ever seen anyone put a pie on a windowsill to cool? Or is that strictly a movie thing?
Cartoons, especially.
I've never,
Like,
yeah,
I
it's gonna be
guess.
a movie thing, but you do see it a lot. Like
I see it a ton.
Serial Mom did it. Life, I remember the comedy there did it, which that was a great
Parents
scene
did
in
it.
Life. Yeah,
Yeah.
Parents. Yeah.
So, honestly, the title is dumb as shit, but that makes sense that a studio kind of. I'm sorry.
The
Let me back
title
up.
doesn't
The
even make
title isn't.
sense
It
because it
doesn't
wasn't even
because
her boyfriend.
it should be like My Acquaintance Is Back. Because
Right.
like, I don't know, man. It's just. I don't want to shit on it because I know you like it, Joe. But like, I just not have a good time with it.
No,
And
I mean, listen, it's I can realize it's nostalgia colored glasses for me in a lot of ways because I know it's not like a great movie by any stretch.
highlight for me though personally was Philip Seymour Hoffman because he plays his character with like his lower jaw jutted out, and he's like, he's a jock, which it's pretty funny, but he's just so fucking weird. Like he is more mad about his friend's girlfriend hanging out with the zombie than the friend Jack is himself. He's fucking trying to kill him with a bat. It's like, I don't know, man. His performance is just like unhinged, and I probably the highlight for me.
I agree. Yeah, his performance was great. It's just so goofy. I kind of wish he like came back too. Like I kind of wish like other people kind of came back in this and kind of had like a whole sort of little zombie thing and Johnny trying to figure that out as well instead of just like him trying to figure out how he can survive in enough time to take Missy to the prom, which was his only goal of the movie. Yeah, I just read actually Peter Jackson was offered to direct this movie. I can't
Oof.
even imagine the type of movie we would have got. I think it would have been a completely different tone of movie here. Also, Ed Neal makes an appearance in this as well. He's one of Chuck's henchmen that goes on this sort of shooting spree in that one scene there. But yeah, man, it's the movie just has such a fucking bizarre tone to it. And I mean
Yeah.
that's kind of what I dug about it though in a lot of ways. It's just really interesting though. I the horror ties to this one with Sean S. Cunningham like being like, yeah, man, I want to make this movie. And it just like, who is this movie for? Like, it's not really for horror fans.
I think
It's not
teenage
really for
girls.
like a mainstream audience either. But it's so weird, right? Like it has such a weird tone. Like I feel like mainstream audiences wouldn't even like it's like a John Waters movie in a lot. Like it has like this sort of weird ass tone to it, you know? It's like if John Waters directed a teenage, comedy. It's bizarre.
I would have loved to see the zombie movie that they're watching in the theater.
It's
I
actually a
wrote that
real
as a note.
movie.
It looks
Yeah,
better than this fucking movie. It's like I wish I was in the
yeah,
theater watching that instead.
seriously. And the axe being in the school, give me a fucking break. I don't know. Maybe in the 80s, who knows, or
Maybe,
90s,
yeah.
whatever. Fucking the parents kidnapping a child to feed to their undead son was fucking weird as hell.
Yeah.
The whole
Um,
so it's a lot of slapstick humor in this, which I don't like. It's probably like to me the lowest form of humor, which a lot of people are like, dude, you like zombie ass Toilet of the Dead. So I'm no stranger to kind of low hanging fruit humor, but I don't know, it just wasn't working for me in this. A lot of jokes about his dick. At one point it's too small. At one
Falls
point
off.
it's falling off. Then they throw a bologna sandwich and onto his into his grave. Why? There's just, I don't know, it just wasn't funny at all to me. And that if it's not funny, then you're just kind of going along for the ride and just confused.
I wrote this line down. I don't remember why, but I sure like beans. Does that ring a bell to anybody?
No.
I don't know if I wrote it down because I wanted beans or not, but maybe someone said it, but I wrote down I sure like beans. So
I did appreciate Horror
yeah.
of the Horror of the Undead when they were when Missy was they were trying to like they called her a zombie slut, and then Horror of the Undead was my personal favorite
That's
insult
pretty good. That should have
she
been the
got.
title.
Right. If you
Uh,
want to check out that movie in theaters, it's a made for TV film called The Midnight Hour.
oh shit!
So maybe
I'm
you
gonna
can
have to
find
look
it
that up.
somewhere right there. But would you guys what'd you guys think of sort of I guess the ending, where he gets he goes up to heaven and he dies. He does get his chance. He does take her to prom, of course. He goes through eating flesh along the way and stuff like that. Including there's a lot of like weird dream sequences too, where Missy is saying "eat me," which I feel like had a double entendre there at one point. Which teenage boys, I get it. But yeah, I mean he ends up dying, goes up to heaven, and finds out we made a mistake. You weren't supposed to die. In the fake robbery that happened, and he gets a second chance at life.
Cool. Anyway, uh, I don't know. I was so far gone at this point. I did enjoy seeing him go to like the waiting room and shit like that and talking to
Mm-hmm.
the judge or whatever. But I guess Steve, go ahead with the ending before I give my pitch on the sequel.
Steve shook his
Yeah,
head.
it's because it's again like the judge. He's trying to be funny, but I didn't find it funny at all. He's all like kind of goofy and he's saying all these weird lines and the whole thing like you get to start over because we made a mistake. It was just such a weird cop out and I don't know. Like I was reading the reviews on Letterboxd after I watched it and a lot of people love the fact that people kind of no sell the fact that he's dead. Like it's just a normal part of life over there. But to me that was so stupid because like no one else is dead. It's not like there's other zombies walking around. It's just the whole film was weird, and that ending sequence. I love a good going to heaven sequence. I mean, we've seen a few films, Bill and Ted, Bogus Journey being one of them that I thought was funny, but this one is just by this point, like Todd, I was just like, oh god, I want this to end already.
So plot hole or something I missed, and then I do have a version. I think that's a better film that we could talk about. But all right, so the locket, when he gets his second chance, stops a bullet. But at that point in time, the locket was safe inside his closet, right? So therefore, it couldn't have been on his body at that time, unless you allow the fucking time travel or theory, whatever the fuck happened, to be true. But I don't. So I think it's a plot hole. What do you guys think?
I went with it because like I think it shows us that everything that happened, like when he was a zombie, was real, sort of. It wasn't like supposed to be like a dream sequence, and then them giving him like the second chance, like it's like both things like really happened, right? But in
For
sort of
him only.
alternate, right? Well, like yeah, like for him only, sort of like an alternate reality sort of thing, and then like him coming back is sort of like the universe kind of like rewinding, and then but that locket is still there as like a reminder that that stuff like did happen when Missy puts it on him at the end, and it's what saves his life. So I
Or
went with it.
or he
Oh,
does die at the end of the dance, and that's just him and his idea of heaven. It's because
possibly.
everything's happening the way that he would like to in
Like
this alternate
Grease.
future. So maybe this is just his heaven,
The
is him
Grease
getting
treatment. I
getting
like
with
it.
the girl, and yeah.
Very
Maybe.
cool.
Maybe. What do you guys think of that? Here's something I am pretty positive on and I liked was the comic book like sequences. I thought that was cool,
Mhm.
like a cool
Decent,
little
yeah.
take. Yeah.
Yep.
Liked it.
Yeah. I like that.
Here's where I think the movie could have been a little bit better is we all know Johnny like wants to impress her desperately, right? And he fails. But you know who does like complete the mission is Eddie. Like his friend Eddie comes in there, he rescues her, knocks out the robber. I think it
Mm-hmm.
would have been interesting if he dies, right? And then she falls in love with Eddie and like completes what his plan was initially, which is rescue her from the robber, like he does. So I thought that would have been a cool like who do you root for at that moment? Do you root for Eddie? Do you root for Johnny? I think that could have been a nice little wrinkle in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that would have been cool. I mean, yeah, I would have been down for that. It's not like what they were going for. They were kind of going for the more
Yeah.
obviously like low hanging fruit of it all. They, it was basic, pretty basic, but that, yeah, that would have been interesting.
I agree. I actually like that ending a lot more because it's like this whole thing was basically for his friend to get the girl, like, I guess fate was supposed to be, or something like that. So I like that better. But there's something you said, Todd, which I had also noticed, which I really hated, is the gravekeeper. Like, what was the point of warning him of what was out there when he looked like he's done this before for some reasons, but we didn't see
He
any
even
of
said
this.
he's done it before.
He said like
Right.
15 years ago it
Yeah.
happened, which is why the town wasn't so shocked, because like it's sort of like a pet cemetery scenario where apparently people come back from the dead every once in a while in
Yeah,
this
but
town.
we never find out what the warning was, which is such a big plot hole. Like, that would be
Well,
awesome to know what.
right. I mean, obviously this movie, like when you really like if you want to fucking like go into a sort of assessment of it, right? It's sort of like to me like it kind of like sort of like mixed race sort of dating, right? Like it's like almost like it reminded me of like the first time sort of like you go into like sort of a racist town and like a black guy's dating a white girl or
You're
something
getting
like
the
that,
weeds now with this
and
message.
right, but it is like similar, right? Like it's like the town like completely ostracizing these couples, and I think that is sort of uh, I think that is sort of like when it was written, like kind of what they were thinking, instead of, a mixed race couple, you have a zombie, and a girl falling in love. And it shows like how this town kind of is against them, but love sort of conquers all. I mean, that's really sort of the central theme around this movie.
All right, I'm on team town though. The townsmen were not wrong. We need to hunt
Taking
this
down a
zombie
zombie.
down. He
Right.
killed a fucking guy. I know Philip
He didn't
Seymour
kill
Hoffman.
him.
I know, but that whole action led to his death, so therefore he killed him by association. He's a fucking zombie. He needs to be destroyed.
He did eat him, even though he was
He-
dead, but it's kind of fucked
Yeah.
up.
And his parents need to go to jail for fucking kidnapping at the very least.
But am I crazy to think that? Like that sort of central theme?
I think that's what they were going for,
Right.
but I don't think they did it successfully.
Right. Yeah. Maybe
like,
not.
and I think the biggest issue of the whole movie, which we did touch on, is that I wasn't buying this relationship whatsoever because
Right.
it came so out of nowhere. Like, there's no seduction scene. There's no, she just kind
Yeah.
of falls for him out of nowhere, and
It was too fast.
yeah, it made no
Agreed.
sense.
Like obviously he had the love for her, but like she didn't have like anything for him. And yeah, I agree. It just happened too fast with not enough like chemistry there. Whereas like Warm Bodies, something we did, it was sort of they did a much better job at sort of developing that sort of relationship and chemistry in a better, slower acting, but nicely done development.
Yeah, Warm Bodies, the best Valentine's movie we've watched so far on this
Oh
podcast.
yeah, by far. It's a good movie.
An actually effective like zombie love
Yeah.
story. This
Right.
one was not.
All right.
Yep.
I think
Alright.
that pretty much covers it. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go last since you guys are both the negative Nancy's on this, so we'll end on a positive note. So someone
Let's go
take it away.
Let's go Steve first. We'll go from least to highest.
Yeah, I fucking hate it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not giving it like a half star because it was still like colorful and I like that era. It reminds me of my time in school and everything like that. But I'm not far from it. I'm giving it 1 star out of 5. I did not enjoy watching it whatsoever, and I'm like almost mad because it's the first movie I've had to like actually pay for in a long time
Me
because
too.
I couldn't
It was
find
like
it any
$2.99.
other way, and I'm like, God damn it, why did I have to do this one? So yeah, 1 out of 5.
Yeah, I am slightly higher. I like the premise. I think performances were pretty cool, and it's always great with these '90s films or this era to spot like who's going to be the next big star. Like Matthew McConaughey has one line in this, and he's like
Yeah.
one of the biggest movie stars of all time right now. You know what I mean? So that's really cool to spot people like that. Rest in peace, Hoffman. Amazing actor. It's such a shame he's gone. I'm at a 2 out of 5. And what the fuck? Get the song in the end credits at least.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Not hearing the song, calling the movie "My Bar's Back," and not playing the song at least once, it just made no sense. At least make it make sense. But I don't know, man. For me, it's like nostalgia. I think if I watched this movie for the first time now, I probably would have been like with you guys. I would have hated it. But for whatever reason, the nostalgia colored glasses for me, just I don't know. It really just brought a smile to my face. I enjoyed watching it. It made me feel warm again. I'm very high on this compared to you guys. I'm at 3.5 out of 5 because I would watch it again. Like after watching it, I was like, man, that was fun. I had fun watching it. I would watch it again. So, it's goofy, man. It's not like a good movie. It's kind of like it's bad, but it's good type movie for me. So yeah, maybe just I'll get Sean Cunningham when I meet him next month to sign my boyfriend's back poster just for the hell of it. All right. I think that is going to be about it for this week's episode. Next week, Steve, what do we got?
For what might be the 5th time I think that we're supposed to do this, but I think we're finally doing it. We're going to do my pick, which is The Mist, which I'm looking forward to. So hopefully we can get it done in time.
Excellent. Nice.
Yes.
You gonna watch the black and white version is the question.
No,
Black and white or color?
I've actually
gonna
never
watch it.
seen the black and white version.
I'm gonna
It's
watch color.
a special feature on the Blu-ray. So
Is it?
Mhm.
I have to check my copy.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't remember my Blu-ray having that.
I am intrigued. I also like to mention I keep forgetting to do this every week because we're trying to do this every week. My boyfriend's back, currently sitting at a 2.9 over on Letterboxd. So higher than both of you guys, more towards me.
yeah.
So there we go.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. So go and check out The Mist for next week. It's definitely streaming somewhere. I think it is on Netflix currently here in the States, if I'm not mistaken. So go and check that out for next week's review. In the meantime, you can keep up with us Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Threads. Just search the Horror Squad Podcast. You can, of course, email us at any time, thehorrorsquadpodcast@gmail.com. But the absolute best way to keep up with the podcast is our Discord. All you got to do is send us a email, send us a DM through our socials, and we will get you a link to join the Discord. Completely free to join. Amazing community over there. We got movie club every month. We have a whole bunch of great discussions over there, a ton of channels to sift through and talk horror and non-horror with a great horror community. So please join us over on our Discord. Don't forget, important weekends, June 7th through the 9th, Living Dead Weekend in Monroeville, Pennsylvania. livingdeadweekend.com for all details. Grab the 1 p.m. mall tour if you haven't already, if you plan on joining, because that will definitely sell out. Or you can also join us October 11th through the 13th in Salem, Massachusetts for our very special Hocus Pocus weekend. A lot of more details to come regarding that weekend coming up. You can check, you can keep it up. It's just a bunch of Halloween.com for details on that. But of course, we'll keep you more up to date over on our Discord with all the information for that. You can also buy merch, tpublic.com. Search the Horror Squad Podcast. Bunch of awesome designs over on there. It's also linked in our Instagram as well to that TeePublic shop. Probably the fastest and easiest way to find the shop. But great designs. We are potentially planning a very special design for Living Dead Weekend. Don't quote me on that, but we are hopeful that maybe we'll have something out for that. So we'll let you guys know if we do plan on doing that. And if you would like to support the podcast, you can also leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast app. That definitely helps the podcast probably the most. So we appreciate that. Help spread the word. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen, for this week's episode. And we'll see you next week for The Mist. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.